You ever find yourself maybe like 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, playing that what if game?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Right. What if I'd taken that job? Or, said yes when I said no?
Hmm. The road's not taken.
Exactly. Stayed, left, never met someone. It's universal, that feeling, isn't it? That little bit of regret, maybe. I know I've definitely been there. Do you? Did you find yourself doing that?
For sure. It's a very human thing, I think. Looking back, wondering about those other paths.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly why today we're doing a deep dive into a book that tackles that feeling, like head on. It's Matt Haig's novel from 2020, The Midnight Library, really acclaimed.
It really is.
So our mission really is just to unpack the big ideas, the sort of nuggets of insight from this book for you, because it's quite something.
It is. And it's fascinating how it blends genres, too.
Yeah.
It's contemporary fiction, yes, but also fantasy.
Fantasy, okay.
And even philosophical fiction. So that mix tells you something straight away. It's grounded, but also imaginative.
Right, okay.
And the themes it digs into are huge. Regret, obviously,
Yeah.
but also mental health, parallel lives,
Parallel lives, wow.
and, the big one, the meaning of life.
That is quite a list. Parallel lives and meaning of life. Sounds ambitious. So how does Haig set this up? Who's our guide on this journey?
Well, our protagonist is Nora Seed. She's in her mid-30s.
Okay.
And honestly, she's feeling pretty crushed.
Yeah.
Just overwhelmed by, disappointments, regrets. Life hasn't gone how she thought it would.
Relatable for many, I imagine.
Definitely. And after hitting, well, a real low point, she finds herself somewhere else. Not alive, not dead, but in this magical place.
Which is?
The Midnight Library. It exists in that space, that sort of limbo between life and death.
Okay, the Midnight Library. And this is where the concept really kicks in, I guess.
Exactly. Because in this library, Nora gets this incredible chance. She can explore countless versions of her life.
Wow.
Like literally try them on, see what would have happened if she'd made different choices back down the line.
So, like, give me an example.
Well, she gets to see herself as, say, a glaciologist.
Okay, random.
Or a massive rock star. Or even what life would look like if she'd, stayed with her ex-fiancé.
That must be intense, trying on whole lives.
It is. And what's really insightful, I think, is what she learns. She starts to understand regret differently. It's not so simple.
How so?
Well, take the rock star life, right? The fame she thought she wanted, turned out it's incredibly isolating. Lonely.
So the grass isn't always greener.
Not at all. She learns that, external success, fame, money,
Yeah.
it doesn't automatically mean happiness or peace inside.
Right, that makes sense.
So through trying these lives, these possibilities, he starts to see, well, the beauty in just possibility itself, and ultimately what actually makes her life feel worth living. Not the fantasy lives, but something else.
It sounds incredibly relatable because we all have those what ifs, don't we?
We absolutely do. And the book takes that very internal struggle, that voice in your head, and just puts it out there on this grand, fantastical stage.
Externalizes it.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is why it connects with so many people, whatever their own life looks like. It just hits home.
So as we kind of wrap up our thoughts on the Midnight Library, it feels like the core message isn't just, be grateful for what you have. It's deeper than that.
Oh, much deeper. It's more about how true appreciation maybe comes from really looking at the fantasy of those other lives.
Right. Confronting the what ifs.
Exactly. Nora's journey shows so clearly that a lot of our regrets are based on these idealized versions, these fantasies of how things could have been perfect.
Which they probably wouldn't have been anyway.
Probably not. And finding peace, the book suggests, comes from embracing the reality. The messy, complex, imperfect reality of the choices you did make.
Finding the meaning not in some imagined perfect life.
But in the actual life, with its ups and downs, the beauty and the resilience you find right there in your story.
That's really well put.
And it's reflected in the reception, too. The book's rated really highly, like 4.5 out of 5.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and people often mention how it encourages self-reflection and its hopeful take on mental health. Crucially, though, it manages this without seeming,
preachy or overly simplistic.
Exactly. It avoids that, which is, it's a tricky balance to get right when you're dealing with these big life questions.
Yeah, definitely a tricky balance. Did you feel it ever got close to that line, or did it stay grounded?
No, I think it consistently walks that line really well. It explores tough things like depression, regret, but there's always this undercurrent of hope. It feels accessible somehow, without making light of the struggles.
That's a powerful thing to achieve.
Ah.
So the big takeaway then is, oh, well, maybe that a normal life, whatever that means,
Right.
with all its bumps and successes and failures, that life can still be incredibly meaningful, and profoundly beautiful even.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of nudges you, doesn't it, to look at the small things, the overlooked bits of your own life and find the strength there. It really reminds me of that classic movie.
That's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, exactly. It has that same kind of feel, ultimately.
It does. And if you think about it, if the book shows how our regrets are often built on these imagined outcomes, not reality,
Yeah,
it makes you wonder, doesn't it,
yeah.
about your own past choices. Kind of flips the script.
How do you mean?
Well, here's a thought maybe for you listening. If every choice ripples outwards, and regrets are often based on fantasy, what about an unregret?
An unregret.
Yeah, like think of a past decision, something you questioned at the time, maybe felt was a missed opportunity. What if you chose, right now, to see it differently?
Okay.
Not as something missed, but as the exact step, the precise turn that had to happen to bring you right here where you needed to be. How might that single shift in perspective change how you see things now?
Viewing it as necessary, not regrettable. That's definitely something to chew on.
Just a thought to ponder.
A great one.
Yeah.
Keep exploring, everyone, and keep appreciating those infinite possibilities within your own narrative.